Hey guys, and welcome to the wrap up. Oh my goodness, what a game that was. The Raptors unfortunately did lose against the Cleveland Cavaliers 116-105. I'm your co-host Sahal Abdi, and this is Oren. This is Oren Weisfeld. Oren, let's get right into it. So the game looked great in the first half. The Raptors defensively looked pretty damn good, and then everything fell apart in the third quarter. There was a very specific clip where Colin Sexton and Fred VanVleet went at it right before halftime. And I've always viewed Colin Sexton, I want to say, as one of the more passionate players in the league. And I've been a big fan of him because of that. And I didn't really like all the, I'm not a fan of Colin Sexton anymore. I mean, guys get into arguments. It is what it is. Like, it's basketball. Like, yeah. I get it, the homerism, whatever. But yeah, right before halftime, little spat, as you can see right here, where Fred and Colin Sexton are just going at it. And yeah, you can just see them going at it. Norm gets involved. And Norm does that little step for. I love that when players do that, Oren. When there's like 15 people between them, they do that little step, that little. I love that. So, but it was cool. Colin Sexton went absolutely berserk to start the third quarter. So you could probably say this fueled him a bit. Was it Fred's fault? Was it Colin's fault? Who really knows? Honestly, who really cares at this point? But was this necessary at all from either of the guys? Probably not. I feel like I've talked quite a bit, Oren. You haven't really said a word yet. So what did you think, honestly, about?
Yo, just mute the video while it plays. Honestly, I was happy with it because the Raptors were playing just not that hard, not that well. So I was like, okay, at least going into the halftime, this could be the spark. At this point, we're in the season, we're so down bad that it's like anything could be the spark, man. I just give me some fucking spark, at some point. It turned out to actually only be the spark for Sexton and he just proceeded to go off and hit, honestly, too many open threes because he's the one guy who's really hitting everything. Why is he getting anything open? Mm-hmm. But Norm didn't have it coming out of that. And we should talk about Siakam because Siakam got benched to end this game. Norm got to take out McCaw with about 4 minutes left. But Nurse chose to keep Siakam out for Stanley Johnson. So, I think that's an interesting talking point. I'll let you go first. What do you think about that decision to not end with Siakam?
I was gonna bring that up next. I didn't understand it. I don't get it. And even if you can say Siakam didn't have the best game, 9 points, 4 for 12. He wasn't. His defensive energy didn't look good at all in the third quarter, but neither did really no one else's. So, I mean, to single out him specifically, it's kind of tough. I've always been of the view that, late in the game, you want to have your best players out there no matter how they're playing. And, Siakam, that doesn't necessarily mean Siakam has to be there to take shots. Like, if he's not shooting well and he's not playing all that well defensively, like, scheme your way around that. Like, I'm not a fan of just completely taking him out the game and throwing in a guy like Stanley Johnson, who, it's Stanley Johnson. Like 15 minutes, he shot 4 shots, he made 1. But I'm not a fan of it. I never have been a fan of, okay, Fred's not having a great game, he's not playing clutch minutes tonight. I didn't understand it, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it at all. I literally wrote in my notes, WTF is Nick Nurse thinking? So I'm not a fan, Oren. I'm not a fan.
But what about this? Does this persuade you? No. Okay, I understand that. A lot of people kind of had the same sentiment that Siakam should have been playing, and obviously I understand. I think you're right in terms of probably would have had a slightly better shot of winning the game if Siakam had played. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, man, say what you will about this season, but I think everyone knows it's where, you know, no one's gonna say it, but
Yeah.
at this point, you just want to create good habits again. You're not as concerned about winning. You want to create good habits. And
Mm-hmm.
Siakam is making $30 million a year. Like, look, I'm the biggest Siakam fan there is. My bias, you know, my fandom definitely gets in the way of my analysis at times. Like we saw the broadcast tonight, where they were giving him every excuse in the book.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, but it's like, look, man, you're making 30. This is your first year on the max contract.
Mm-hmm.
You're making 30 million. We need you to be better. And he was bad today, like bad. Yeah, I agree. He could have been there, not taking shots, just played defense, just like, you know, and he's making the right play. That's the thing. He's usually making the right read, but he's just not finishing anything. Around the rim, his touch is completely off, and he's just not playing that hard. Like that's the thing that angers me. He could be a guy who gets offensive rebounds and puts backs. He could be the guy that gets those 50-50 balls that are thrown up in the air. And he's not really doing that stuff right now. And so, you know, Stanley Johnson, at least say what you will about him, at least he's playing really hard and he's playing pretty good D. So, you know, I kind of understood the decision just as like a little bit of a wake up call to Pascal more than anything. Like, look, man, you're not guaranteed much on this team. You got to play up to your contract. If you wanna close out games for this team and be the guy with the last shot, you know, you just need to play better. It's not even just about finishing, like I said, it's about playing harder and more focused.
Yeah, that's literally what it's all about for Pascal. And this is a game where it's like against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, I get it. They do have some defenders. They threw at, you know, Pascal. They had the rookie Okoro. They had Larry Nance that they threw on him. They even had Jared Allen at times, kind of just giving him that room to shoot. But Pascal is a guy that just has to play better. But it's like when the entire team, Oren, is shooting 38.9% from the field. Oren, there wasn't a single guy on the Raptors who shot over 5 field goal attempts
Right.
that shot 50%. Like, you literally go through every single Raptor player. You know, Norman was 7 for 16. OG was 7 for 15. Kyle was 5 for 14. Fred shot 24 shots and had 23 points. He was 8 for 24.
Yeah. No one played particularly well, I would say, other than
there wasn't that one guy they could rely on.
No. I mean, this was a good game for OG. OG's stock went up after this game.
For sure.
Just in terms of like, can OG have a bigger role offensively on this team? Because tonight with Siakam out, OG was really the guy getting most of the pick and roll plays. He was getting the ball, just opportunity to take guys off the dribble. And I thought he was, once again, you know, our best player 2 games in a row. Once again, the guy who kind of kept us in it. I'll show this clip real quick here. Oh, add to stream. Here we go. Yeah. And this is him taking Jared Allen off the dribble, and he got him twice.
Reminded me of Oren. That reminded me of the move Pascal put on who was it? The day before yesterday. Was it Gobert? I think it was Gobert.
Oh yeah. The little fake, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and OG did this to Jared Allen multiple times, and you know, Jared Allen he's a pretty mobile big. Like, he's not a guy who can't keep up with wings. He's a fairly switchable big. So OG had his way with him all night. That was really nice to see. But let's be honest, like, we're down so bad right now. This is terrible.
We're past terrible. No,
that team is actually bad. Like, I'm just saying that they're bad. They're just bad. They're not good. They're not a guy away. They're not a couple pieces away. They're not a good center away. They're just not very good right now. And it's not like they don't have the core or the players or the talent to be good, but the product they're putting out there night after night is just so inconsistent. Like, that's one thing I actually thought about today, is just, you don't see this team go on sustained runs. It's like, yeah, okay, a nice defensive stop, and then we get a 3, and then we don't keep that momentum going long enough to really win enough games, you know?
We don't. And the comments, at least the live comments, Oren, that I'm looking at, all reflect the sadness, the pure, unadulterated sadness flowing through the Raptors community right now. I'm not going to post what Jonathan said, but he said the Raptors are, hot Garbaggio. Guru Shishia said, it wasn't the first time Pascal got benched, won't be the last time either. So it seems like some people were kind of like okay with Pascal being benched, or at least understood it. I see a comment here from Adrian Marlowe. It says last 8 games, best Raptors defensive performance, allowing 114 points. Since then, like other than that game, obviously over 120 points per game average against Toronto in the last 8. That's horrific. That's and again, guys, like when we post some of these stats, we're taking your word for it. We're not here to check to back up what's being posted here. But I mean, I believe it.
Average,
I believe it totally. The Raptors aren't a good defensive team. They show flashes. We saw flashes, Oren, in the first quarter where they stifled Cleveland. Cleveland couldn't do anything. Every shot that was going up for Cleveland was a tough one. And then, like I said, third quarter, it all just blew up in Toronto's face.
So
third quarter.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say they played a horrific second and third quarter defensively. They allowed 68 points in both quarters combined.
Yeah, we got off to a great start defensively. Like, I think I have it written down real quick. The Raptors forced 5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the game. But one thing you talked about on Twitter is that I'll pull up the stats right now. They just didn't make very good use of those turnovers. So the Cavs had 27 turnovers on the night. The Raptors had 26 points off of turnovers. And sorry. Wow. The Raptors only had 13 points off of turnovers. But the Cavs had 27 turnovers, yet the Raptors only had 14 turnovers, and somehow the Cavs turned that into 26 points. So the math is crazy there. But
Oren, this is the thing, Oren. I've been saying that this is a problem Toronto has had game in and game out, where they're forcing, a shit ton of turnovers. They forced 27. And I was watching, I had to flip over to the Cavs broadcast because I love doing that. You guys know this by now. Like, I love flipping over to the other broadcast, hearing their point of view on the game. And they kept mentioning the turnover number. This is the highest turnover number that the Cavs had the entire year. This was something where, the Cavs, this isn't something that the broadcasters were used to. It just wasn't. And for the Raptors to force 27 turnovers and only get 13 points, like not even half the amount of points from the turnovers you're getting. That's 27 extra possessions you're getting on the court, and you're getting 13 points from 27 extra possessions. Like, that is horrific. And people were tweeting about it. One of my, good friends on Twitter, Assad, at Swar Lasers, if you guys want to follow, he's a great follow. He was talking about, like, how are we forcing this many turnovers and not getting points? And I had to reply, and I was like, this has been happening, Assad. Like, this is something that Toronto has been doing, especially since they've had their full lineups, where OG and all these guys are forcing so many turnovers, but they just can't do anything, and they can't capitalize.
Yeah, so, like, this is something I wrote about earlier in the season, and it still holds true, and, like, is that they're the third most frequent team in transition in terms of where their points come from, how they do offense. They're the third most frequent team in transition, but they're up to 1.1 points per possession on transition, which is good for most play types, but for transition it ranks 6th worst in the league. And like, it's a really jumbled bunch, but still basically it just means the Raptors are a very middling transition team, yet that's their main source of offense. They're not as great as you want them to be in the half court, and it's just how Nick Nurse likes to play, is just fast and turnovers leading to fast break points. They're not doing a great job this year, and there's a bunch of weird reasons why. Maybe fatigue because they're playing smaller plays a part. Not having Serge and Mark to trail those threes maybe plays a part, because now you have Aaron Baynes, who's, I don't even want to. He needs to be sent to China for that one turnover.
He needs to be sent to the Chinese basketball league, 100%.
That turnover was
You're talking about the one where he got it inbounded to him and he's dribbling it up the court and then like threw like a
he just
circus,
threw
like,
it away.
bounce pass. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And I want to say one other thing, because someone wrote this in the comments about I'm gonna pull it up, about Boucher.
Yeah.
And I think we got so reliant on Boucher's offense. When we were winning this games this season, it was usually because Boucher was having a really good offensive night. And when he's not providing that scoring punch off the bench, the Raptors don't have really anyone who will. So it's really problematic when he's not scoring. And he does look a little bit, not disinterested, but he does look a little less engaged than he has looked earlier this season, for sure. Just less effective really on both sides of the ball for whatever reason.
For sure.
Boucher's not getting it done. We have, okay. Yeah. So sorry for if our Twitter users, if something went down. It said Periscope is having issues, but hop on YouTube, I guess. That's still working.
We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We actually just got a comment on Facebook, Oren, from Tim Roche, where he said...
People are on Facebook.
Yeah, that's crazy. I see a team struggling with confidence, defense, and executing on offense, and that's what it is. This is a team thing. Like, we can go player to player. We can say Boucher's doing this, and Pascal got benched, and someone in the comments I think said Fred shot 38%. I'm going to try and pull it up. Fred's shooting most of our shots, and he's shooting 38% from the field. It's not fun. Like, this is watching these Raptors game in and game out. No matter who the opponent is, it's not all that fun. It's gotten to the point now with Toronto where a lot of my close friends are turning off the games midway through. These guys are diehard Raptors fans, and they're turning off the game mid-third quarter because they are just tired of the misery. And I used to blame them, and I used to say, you guys aren't real Raptors fans, you guys are this, you guys are that, but it's like the way the Raptors are losing now, Oren, it's gotten to the point where like it genuinely hurts to be a fan of this team. To get to some positives, there are some positive comments, because I feel like we've been bringing up all the negativity. Deservedly so for Toronto, by the way. But there's a comment here I think I just saw, Patrick McCaw related. Yeah, right there. Where it's absolutely said, I like what I saw from McCaw tonight. It's tough because it's really tough to really draw positives in a game like this. But there are some positives. McCaw did play 10 minutes in the game. He got to the line. He had a couple rebounds, a couple steals. So he was active. And the thing with McCaw is I feel like every time he's in the game, rarely ever do you see a lethargic Patrick McCaw. So it's just with him, it's can he do other things? Can he score? Can he, do some other things on the court? So,
Yeah, I mean, I thought the decision to bench Paul Watson was a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
But defensively, him and Flynn were both pretty good. But like we talked about, somebody needs to bring more than just like solid rotations and like not making mistakes. Like that's what they're doing, and that's nice. But I think he just went to Stanley and McCaw because he wanted some more juice, and they helped, respect, because they got a couple steals, one each, and they helped turn that game around. But it wasn't like Johnson or McCaw did anything crazy. Our expectations are now so low that it's like anyone comes off the bench and does something nice, it's like, wow, you didn't ruin our whole night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, back then we used to see games where Toronto would have 40 bench points, 35 bench points, 30 bench, and we're like, oh, okay, like this is something we're used to. And now I'm looking at the box score, and it's like, wow, relative to how the bench has played this season, which has been horrific, having 20 bench points from the bench is something I was happy about, which is crazy to say because, again, no one eclipsed 5 points. McCaw had 5 points, and he played 10 minutes. He played the least out of all the bench guys except for Paul Watson. So, 20 bench points, it's like, hey, but then of course, when Toronto gets a little bit of bench, productivity, Pascal Siakam drops 9 points, and Fred VanVleet shoots 8 for 24, and Kyle Lowry's 5 for 14, and so I mean we can't get the best of both worlds. It's like when the starters play really well, the bench offer absolutely nothing, and when the bench want to show something, the starters just shoot absolutely terribly. So
yeah, I have this clip ready that our producer said was probably the TSN turning point. So I'm not sure if you want to comment on it, but I think I agree with him. So we can just watch it.
Yeah, it was the offensive rebound play, right? Yeah, goes out. Larry Nance
open.
Raptors.
See, my problem there is like I know it's an offensive rebound, and those are extremely hard scramble situations, but someone has to pick up Colin Sexton. He's the guy that's killed you all game. Fred goes for the ball. McCaw doesn't pick up Sexton quick enough at all. And then that's like what we talk about, a lack of execution and focus, man. It's just do the obvious thing. Do the obvious thing. But yeah, okay, so our producer is also demanding that we talk about a little thing called Fade for Cade. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on fading for Cade or tanking for Mobley, whatever you want to call it?
I think, Oren, I've reached a point with this team. I might have reached the breaking point. Like, I might have finally reached I don't know about fade for Cade, because fade for Cade, like, we're not getting Cade Cunningham. Like, sorry, Raptors. It's not bad juju. We're not getting Cade Cunningham. Like, we'd have to lose literally every single game of the season to be in contention for that top 5-ish, top 3-ish, I'm pretty sure, lottery.
Well, the lottery odds are a little more spread out, so I think.
Warren, don't give them hope. Don't do it. Don't give them hope.
You're right. We're not. You're right. Okay.
We're not getting Cade Cunningham. Will we get it? Are we going to be in contention for a pretty good prospect? It looks like it. Like, the Raptors are not playing well. So are we at that time where, we have to start selling? We become more of a selling team. I think finally I'm there, because like, we've lost enough games this season. We've lost against the Pistons twice in 2 weeks. We lost against the Utah Jazz, and Jazz are a great team, but that's a game we just should have had. We just lost against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just looking at our schedule, Oren, and the teams we've lost to. Like, we lost to the Bulls by 23, lost to the Hornets by 10, lost to the Hawks. Remember that one, Oren? Game winner.
I do. Yeah. Oh yeah, the timing on these losses is terrible, because we got a couple tough games coming up against the Nuggets, the Blazers, and the Phoenix Suns. the next after tomorrow, the Houston Rockets, who are on a 20-game losing streak, honestly, and your whole team. But after that, we got the West, and the West is just straight up good compared to the East. I'm going to play this little clip of Kyle yelling at his teammates real quick, because I felt him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I watched this.
Oh, no, this is not here. This is a different one.
He's just angry. Like, he's just...
Yeah, he called the timeout, too, just a little before. He literally called the timeout. I don't know if anyone noticed. That was not Nick Nurse's timeout. Kyle called it, and then he just yelled at his teammates. And, the play, I was watching the play where it happened.
Yeah.
And it was a pick and roll with Larry Nance and I think Garland.
Yeah.
Fred gets hit on the screen pretty hard. They switch it, but Fred can't recover. And OG is the help, and OG doesn't come and help quick enough. It's just like, yeah, it was a slow developing play. They should have been there. They should have rotated, and they didn't. And then Kyle called that timeout. My thoughts on like the tanking stuff is that, like, this is like, I think it's one of the stupidest like sports commentaries when we start talking about tanking, because people don't understand like what exactly we're talking about. No one's saying that the Raptors should intentionally lose games. All right. Okay. No one's saying that. They're not going to intentionally lose games.
No one's doing that. Yeah.
Like, certain teams have done that. They've pulled veterans at the end of the season with rest, the tanking process there as Sixers. But the Raptors, we're not suggesting that. We're suggesting, do you favor development over winning right now? So instead of going out and getting rentals, who are maybe older and who could help you this season, do you maybe favor getting younger players or draft picks? And then on court, it's like maybe give OG a little more on-ball reps, even though he might, have some turnovers. It's going to be a growing process, but give him those because next season it'll pay dividends. So it's more so, I'm in favor of that kind of stuff. And it'll probably lead to a worse record, which in turn leads you closer to Cade Cunningham, who, by the way, is about to play. I'm about to watch that tonight. If you guys want to tune into Oklahoma State and see what this guy is, because he's a really, really big talent, probably the best prospect since Zion. I would recommend that. But yeah, like just kind of development, whatever Kyle wants to do, cater to Kyle.
Yeah.
New talent next season. Because I think next season they'll be good again. Like, do you agree with that, or is that too optimistic? If they just reshuffle a little bit this offseason, the Raptors, I think, are right back to top 4 seed. Do you agree?
Damn, Oren, you put me on the spot. Do I think they're a top 4 seed?
Like, could they be if they play the offseason well?
Yeah. See, okay, then yes, absolutely. Like, if they play this offseason really well, and not only do they attack their huge weaknesses, which is obviously the center position, and then, I'm here alone now. Nice. If they attack the center position, and then if they, get a scorer off the bench, and they just need a lot more. The whole bench needs to be revamped. Welcome back, guys. Our co-host is back. Oren Weisfeld. No, I got kind of freaked out there. It was just me for a sec. But to answer your question, Oren, yes, if they have to have to kind of combat Oren having a pretty bad offseason, which is I think what the Raptors had, like they have to have a great offseason. And then you maybe have to have like an all-time great offseason, and things really need to change, because at the end of the day, we can make excuses and we can say, Siakam's playing the 5, and I see it in the comments. Like Siakam's playing the 5, he's unconditioned, he's coming off this, and I get it, guys. Like COVID, I totally get it. Fred had it as well. But at the end of the day, like this was our core last year, and our guys regressing maybe. Like Kyle Lowry doesn't look the same defensively. That's another topic, Oren. Kyle Lowry just doesn't look the same defensively, and a lot of that I think is might be tired legs. Like we played the living hell out of Kyle Lowry and Norm Powell while Fred, Siakam, and OG were gone, and maybe it's gonna take a game. Like I think honestly, back to back, you're facing the worst. I'm pretty sure the Rockets have the worst record in the league now. They've lost 20 straight. This would be a great game.
They do.
You just sit Lowry. Just sit him. You get fined. It doesn't matter. Sit Lowry, let him get his legs back, and then you said they have the Nuggets on Wednesday, the Suns on Friday, and then the Trailblazers on Sunday. So Lord, like that's 3 games that all look like L's. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys.
Yeah.
All 3 of those look like L's, and to be honest, the Houston Rockets game might be an L too. Like I'm not giving this team any more blind faith. Like after losing today, it's like I've gotten to the point, Oren, where no, I don't say tank. Like tank, you can't tank, guys. This isn't NBA 2K, right? You just can't do that. You can't tank with a guy, especially with a guy like Lowry on your team. But as for the Raptors front office, you really have to look at it like, hey, we might have told teams that Lowry's off limits. We might have to open up those conversations again, because for the sake of Lowry and for the sake of the organization, like you really might have to start looking at a Lowry trade. Norm, it's like, I don't know. I'm not really ready to say trade Norm yet. Some people are.
We talked about this before on the show. We don't have to rehash Norm.
Yeah, we're not rehashing.
Let me throw a name out for you, because I'm writing about this. I'll have a piece on Raptors Republic Tuesday morning about this. I'm pretty excited because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the Raptors targeting a guy like Lonzo Ball? So the reports came out that Lonzo is available for a first-round pick. The Pelicans don't seem like they're coming to any. KOC reported that they don't seem like the Pelicans are coming to a deal. The Raptors could pretty easily get there, whether it's trading Powell or trading Powell to a third team for a pick, who then that pick goes to Pelicans, or they could get there maybe just Malachi and the first round pick could probably get there.
Yeah.
Because personally, like I like Malachi, but I think Lonzo is a great long-term fit beside Fred VanVleet.
Mhm.
And like I'll write about this so I'll have more depth, but it's just like the rebounding is huge at that position. The defense, the off-ball defense, while Fred guards the ball handlers. Lonzo's an amazing off-ball defender. He gets steals and he plays in transition, which is how
Yeah.
Nick likes to play, right? So I just think his style fits what the Raptors like to do. He's a defensive-oriented player who plays the game best when it's fast, and he has size beside Fred VanVleet. Like, I'm not saying Lowry's gone, but even if Lowry's here, like we still need a future kind of 2/1 guard. What do you think about him?
I am with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm such a fan of Lonzo. The way he's improved this season, he came into the season being one of the better on-ball and off-ball defending guards in the league, and he plays with like a real passion defensively that you don't really see much from like your typical solid defender. Like Lonzo is a guy that other guys will look at defensively and they'll want to play beside him. But then past that, like you said, the long-term fit beside Fred's beautiful. I love it. Like I love that fit. They're both two-way guards. They're both, Fred's become a better playmaker this year. Lonzo's a really good playmaker. And yes, as big as a fan as I am of Norm, like Norm is a player that I would get rid of for Lonzo. Like you said, if it takes a first-round pick, I'm giving up a first-round pick. And would I sign Lonzo to a long-term contract? Yes. If you asked me this a few weeks ago, Oren, I don't know. I don't know if I would have said yes, but if you trade for Lonzo, whether it be, Chicago, whether it be Toronto, Chicago, I know was in the reports today, I think from Shams. I don't want to misquote, but I think it was Shams. Might have been Mark Stein from ESPN who came out with that.
It might have been KOC, but yeah.
Or it might have been KOC as well, yeah. So it was Chicago. What was the other team that was heavily interested in Lonzo?
Atlanta?
It was Atlanta, yeah. And apparently it's centered around a Cam Reddish trade, which is pretty cool. That was like their proposed package. So if I'm Toronto, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm getting a package. Like I was about to say I'm offloading Lowry, but
I don't think you need to, though. If the price is a first-round pick, I don't think you can get there without Lowry or maybe even Norm. Like a couple prospects and a pick gets you a good first-round pick, I would say.
And the thing with that, Oren, is that it gives you that Lowry insurance. Like now you can move along. If Lowry decides in the offseason, you can keep Lowry for the season, and then you move along throughout the season with Fred and whoever else, the Lonzo, and OG's already on a contract and Pascal's on a long-term contract. And then you just sign Lonzo. And a lot of people are Oren, I can see it sometimes, some of them in the comments too, where some people love it and some people don't.
And like, I'll just say quickly that Lonzo wouldn't replace what Norm does. Like Norm puts a lot of pressure on the rim, and Lonzo's not great in the half court. He's not like, he doesn't have great bursts or anything. He's not a great, he doesn't finish very well around the rim, which would be a problem. Him and Fred together, that could be a problem. But Lonzo's 23 years old. There's a lot of room to grow here in the Raptors development system.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. He could put some more size on that frame, already big frame, and create more contact, be able to finish through more contact, I think, in the future. And then, a game like this from OG is like a good example of they can replicate, if Norm is gone, they can replicate some of that stuff on this roster. Like whether it's OG, probably the number one guy, to have a bigger load offensively, I think he deserves it at this point. Give him more downhill opportunities to attack the basket like Norm has, and I think he'll succeed, So I don't think you're not replacing Norm with Lonzo, but it's a different look, and you can replace Norm with some of the other players. Lonzo is just like, I just like the rebounding, the defense, the transition. That just like speaks to what the Raptors want to do. I think so. So for that price too, I'm kind of surprised. They said they're just looking for one first-round pick. We could get there.
We could,
it's interesting.
And it makes sense too that Atlanta's maybe they're offering Cam Reddish as that replacement for the first-round pick. But again, I'm a huge fan of Lonzo. Someone in the comments said, I think we need a good man. I'm gonna highlight it here. He said, I think we need a good 3-point shooter. I think he meant to say we have good shooters, but they aren't mainly shooters.
What does that mean?
And I don't know if he means like we need like a strict 3-point threat, like a Wayne Ellington, or I keep mentioning Wayne. People are going to hate me in the comments for constantly mentioning Wayne Ellington, but I'm a fan of Lonzo. I am a fan of doing whatever it takes to add him to this long-term core. Like you said, you don't even have to get rid of a Norm. Center a trade around, a first, or even if to me, I'm personally getting rid of a first and Flynn. I'm sorry, like I love Malachi,
Yeah, that's probably what it would
but
be.
that's probably what it would be. Yeah, maybe it's a Flynn, and you throw in a guy like McCarr, and you take
Ideally
back
like a next year first instead of this year. But yeah.
Mhm. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with that. Like if they ask for this year's first, which is probably what they're trying to get, that probably doesn't do it for me. Like I can't, because this year's class coming in
No.
is too damn good.
It's got to be protected, especially if it's this year.
Yeah. So, since we're speaking about Malachi a lot, I feel like we have to kind of show this clip right here, Oren.
Yeah. If you got it, please.
I'm gonna mute it though, but Malachi.
This is
Nice
nasty.
little unsteady. Ooh, a little step back, Jay. And we've been calling for Malachi to play this year. So it was nice to see OG find Malachi. He didn't really settle for the contested three there, and he just took. I love that confidence. Like that's a shot you saw him take in the G League. So am I a fan of Malachi? Absolutely. But am I a fan of getting a much better player who can contribute right away and can be part of the long-term core? In Lonzo, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And ideally you keep Malachi, because I think like Malachi is more of a spark plug scorer than he is like a starting guard at this, like for the next few years at least. Like he could, I think, pretty soon become a guy who comes off the bench, 7th, 6th man, and just get you buckets, because he has that confidence, like you said. He has that creation, the ability to create separation. That's really what, in my opinion, makes him stand out. I was listening to Hoop Goose and our friend Samson Folk on the Raptors Republic Weekly podcast, which you should all listen to. And they had a good Malachi discussion. They were talking about, when he can add a bit muscle to his frame, I think defensively especially, he'll just be able to get over those screens a little bit better. Like right now, he's getting bounced off his spot so easily. But offensively, even without added weight, offensively, man, he's just missing easy shots, but he creates shots pretty much whenever he has the ball. And if he can use a screen, like he gets really, really good looks. So I'm sure those are going to start going down. I called a Malachi Flynn game incoming. He's going to have like a 20-point game soon, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of finding good looks for players.
Yeah, this is a nice one.
Finds Paul Watson in the corner there. And it's all with confidence. Like with a guard, it like we saw, Fred didn't play much his rookie year. Malachi hasn't really played all that much his rookie year. But like that's just a great look. And Malachi, of course, I think is a playmaker first before he's a scorer, but he can also score. So I'm a huge fan of Malachi. But like I said, like Oren, if I'm Masai Ujiri, and who knows, I could be wrong, but right now, if I'm Masai Ujiri, what I'm doing is, I'm exploring that Lonzo Ball trade, Malachi in a first. Sorry, like if that's what it takes, that's what it's going to be. And then I think now I can finally say, Oren, with the way the season's going, I'm open to trading Norm for a center option.
Yeah. Look at this. It's crazy.
I came over to the dark side. Sorry, guys. I know I was like one of the leaders of the team, keep Norm, and people were looking at me crazy on Twitter. But I think I'm starting to inch over. I
get it. Like for a Collins or a Holmes, right? Like someone like that.
I would love Rashawn Holmes. If the Kings would do that, like, and I think they would, because Powell's been going crazy, but like I would take Rashawn Holmes and something else. Like it can't just be a 1-for-1. I think Powell gives them a lot. Like he gives the Kings a lot. Like I'm just gonna leave it at that. He gives them a whole nother scoring option.
Yeah, but they're dumb. They're dumb franchise.
Their franchises, right?
Good hope.
Like I said, the 5 position is not working well, Oren. We know that. So if we can end up with Lonzo and Rashawn Holmes 3 weeks from now, Win as many games as you can.
I mean, that would be beautiful. That would be
amazing. Like, and you keep
That's our
Lowry.
dream.
You
that's the dream, dude.
Send off Lowry, like, of course it sucks that Lowry's last season is in Tampa, but
yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We will be live at 2 p.m. on Thursday for the trade deadline. So join us on Periscope, on Twitter, or on YouTube, because we're going to kind of just react to whatever the Raptors choose to do or not do on trade deadline. So that should be a fun show. For me, though, I'm not sure if I have anything else to add tonight. Do you?
No, I don't. I'm going to wrap it up here, Oren, if you don't mind. That was it, guys. Live comments, guys. We want to shout you out again because, again, this is another feature that we're trying more and more to get you guys more engaged. I saw that comment, and I tried to keep a straight face because I'm a Ryerson University graduate, so I tried to keep a straight face.
So they got some players.
Context, guys, Oliver said that they need to waive Baines.
They need to ship Baines out.
And he wasn't done. And pick up a snack from Ryerson University. So, again, live comments, thank you so much. We're seeing a lot of names, guys, that are constantly reoccurring.
I'm just going to say real quick to hop in. On a serious note, the last serious thing of the game, I really think play Stanley Johnson at the 5 instead of Baines at the backup 5 minutes, please. Like, it's just better.
At the point, Oren, where I don't want to see Baines on the court anymore.
No.
Like, I've officially, and people know, like, I don't have to say it. Like, people know I'm that Baines.
Yeah.
You know what my thoughts are on Baines.
And it seems like Nurse wants Stanley in the rotation. He keeps going back to him. So this is a perfect opportunity to give him steady minutes instead of Baines.
This is it. This is the perfect opportunity. I don't want to drag it out too long, though, guys. Thank you so much for the live comments. We got live comments from YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. So thank you guys so much for that. That was it for us. The Raptors did lose tonight's game 116-105 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was an unfortunate one, but you guys will see us back tomorrow versus the Houston Rockets. Hopefully we can get that done, and we'll see you guys later for that. Obviously, we want to thank our sponsor, Arif Qureshi from Remax, for supporting the show. But other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday night against the Houston Rockets. That's it for me and Oren. See you guys. Take care.
Like and subscribe. Bye.
Yes. Like and subscribe, guys. Do all that good stuff.